We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We're live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Fun 3-hour program lined up today. Really strong guests as always. In 30 minutes, professional sports bettor Paul Bovi joins the program. He's had season tickets to the Knicks since the 80s. How is he going to operate with those tickets? How is he going to bet them in the next round, depending on the matchup? Jeff Sherman, longtime Vegas odds maker on the show, will hit NBA, PGA, NFL schedule with him. Dave Ross here at VSiN, fight weekend. Rousey Carano among them. We'll get his best bets on that. And John Anthony, this is going to be a lot of fun trading card market right now with Wemby. He's also very good like betting rookies of the year in Major League Baseball. We'll talk about that, Pauly. So we have the games on the board tonight. We have Major League Baseball. We got the schedule release. We got the PGA Championship. How the hell are you feeling?
Good. It's too bad the hockey game sucked. That was unfortunate. But 2 Game 6s and the NFL schedule release was interesting. And a lot of good stuff. I think the Tennessee Titans won. They did an excellent job. Hey, you, Myles Garrett? Hey, buddy.
It was very creative. I must admit, I caught some of Money Moves on the way in with JVT and Stormy when they were talking about this. JVT said it is jumped the shark. I could not agree more. For the most part, these teams with the videos, yes.
They did a good job.
They are creative, but it's like, am I really going to sit there and spend my entire Thursday night watching 32 different release videos?
That's much. But the Falcons did a good job.
The Chargers take the cake every single year.
Chargers did a good job. Went after Rossini and Vrabel. That was good. The only team to do that as well. Get a load of this. Mike North, who makes the schedule. Rest disparity is not a thing. You do not have a competitive advantage when you're coming off your bye. You don't have a competitive advantage when you have 3 days more of rest. If the data suggests that, we'll adjust. What? Warren Sharp's been all over this. I mean, that's crazy. And because of what he said, that's also how they made the schedule. Chargers, -24.
Yeah.
Rest disadvantage. Second worst since 2000. Bears +16. Second largest since 1999. 40% of the schedule, there's a rest advantage. Most in history.
Yeah, it's going to keep being like that as we have the more standalone games, as we play games now on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
69 games, 3 days rest advantage or more. Most in history.
Do we want that person in charge of making the schedules? When he has that opinion?
No. How about this one? Because for the first time since 2011, there are 5 teams that don't have a prime time or standalone game.
I can't believe that.
He goes, well, you don't draft your way into prime time. We don't do that. Okay. It is the Las Vegas Raiders, and they have a huge global brand. Why are the Giants in prime time every year, and they've had one good year in 10 years?
That's exactly right. You can't...
The Raiders are livid. I don't blame them.
Oh, no, neither do I. By the way, I must say the analogy to me, for a guy like that in charge of making the schedule, to make that comment is like you go to the gym and you get a trainer, and they come out and they're 43 pounds overweight. You want to take advice from this person? I think not. Okay? So for the Raiders, and look, like in the history of this show, been on the air for like 9 years now, I am like 90% anti-Raiders. And that means just like I think they're going to be terrible, usually. Last year I thought they were going to be a bet-on team. They were not. They were bad yet again. But for the most part, I usually tend to like bet their season totals to the under. I personally think it's a better league when the Raiders are good. But I am far from like waving the pom-poms here in Las Vegas for this team. They got absolutely bent over last night with the first overall pick, a stadium that is still somewhat kind of new, a city that gave the owner $750 million so he could move here, and that team with that following's not in prime time, that's a disaster by the NFL.
Horrible job.
How do you do that? First pick.
Yeah, they are livid. I don't blame them.
They got every right to be pissed.
They couldn't believe it. And the other thing, too, the two best teams in the league last year that played two unbelievable games meet in Week 16 and Week 18. Week 18, it might not mean anything. That's Seattle and the Rams. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, a great rivalry. The games are always close. Week 15 and Week 18.
What do you think about that, Pauly?
Terrible job. I don't understand why that's horrendous by Mike North in the league doing that.
Especially with the Seahawks and the Rams.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't matter which teams, but twice in 3 weeks, we've been saying that forever now, or as long as they've been doing this. There's no reason to do that. In fact, you need to look at the schedule every single year and say, well, hold on, that's a glitch. We need to take care of that and make sure that does not happen. Mm-hmm. I would point this out. And Warren Sharp, again, as you said, he was with us on this show and every other show pretty much throughout the entire football season, specifically on the Sunday morning show that we did last year. Very good when it comes to the observations. So how about the Chiefs getting that big of a favor from the league?
Yeah.
Where we don't even know if Mahomes is going to be ready to go. They have the easiest schedule over the first month of the season. And the team that they open up with, oh, by the way, their quarterback got hurt as well, Bo Nix. The most difficult schedule to begin the year. At KC, Jacksonville, the Chargers, at San Francisco, at the Chargers, Seahawks. I don't know if I have that right. I think I maybe wrote down one of the wrong teams there because I don't think they get the Chargers twice like that, but that's my bad. But it's very difficult. And so my betting takeaway is this, not that I was going to be like super high in the Broncos anyway this year, but you need to wait if you want to bet this team to make the playoffs, win the division, maybe even adjusted win total until probably after that Seahawks game in Week 6.
I echo the sentiments of a lot of media and fans as well. What makes the league think that we want to watch this many Denver Broncos games? They're not exactly exciting either.
I'll throw Pittsburgh in there as well.
Oh, they're in trouble. That's where the league could be in trouble. That's the number one team about why are they on so many primetime games and late in the season when they could be out of it. And they better pray that Rodgers decides to join them as well.
Yeah.
But with Tomlin gone and a tough schedule and that brutal stretch to close the season, that could be the one team where it's, oh, God, these guys again. What a swing and miss by the league.
How about the Cleveland Browns? Again, I guess maybe, you could put the tinfoil hat on and say, yeah, they're clearly helping out a team like the Chiefs with that schedule to begin and Mahomes off the injury. The Cleveland Browns play 6 of their first 9 games on the road. How about that? Now, that's to begin the season. That seems completely unfair. I guess the one thing that they could have going for them then is that if they're actually going to be decent, and who the hell knows what the quarterback play is going to look like this year, if they're like maybe in the mix middle of the season and they can survive that gauntlet, that means that they're going to get a ton. The schedule is going to be backloaded for home games in bad weather, you would think. And that could, in theory, only favor that team then under that scenario. Yeah. The Packers are the only team to play 2 Thursday night games, a Wednesday game, and on Christmas Day. And this is a good tweet from Jimmy Kemsky. After the Philadelphia Eagles return from London Week 5,
this is good.
They will not board a flight again as a team until Thanksgiving when they take on the Cowboys in Week 12. They'll go to DC, but they don't take a plane to that. So that's incredible. Mm-hmm. A 7-week stretch where you're not on one flight.
I like all the standalone games, and the league said the fans vote with their remote, and that every single place that has that televised games increased ratings, and ratings went up 10%, so they're going to continue to do this. The one problem they're going to run into is there are several weeks where you only have 3 late games.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where Scott Hansen was ticked off, but that's where the league continues to make a mistake, where they don't have to do that. And if you get a blowout, injury, bad game, whatever, you're stuck with one game in that window, and that makes it a bad viewing experience for everyone.
How long have you been saying this, Pauly, about the red zone? Again, in theory, that is one of the greatest inventions of all time. But so many things are going against it. One of which is the thing that you just detailed. When you have, and by the way, as of right now, we have 7 weeks with 3 late games. The schedules have not been finalized for the exact times for like the final month of the season. So 7 weeks with 3 late games. One of them will be the national TV game, so that's going to get the most run. And if none of them are competitive, like what's the purpose of watching Red Zone? Or another one, what's the purpose nowadays of buying the NFL ticket when you have to have so many different outlets to watch the games? And if they're only going to have 3 late, well then why would I buy that product when I can go somewhere maybe and watch like 4 games at the same time early, and then I'll have no problems doing that at the house as well with the 3 late. I don't know.
Are you stronger on the Lions now that we've seen the schedule?
Well,
Win total 10.5. They do go to Minnesota week 15, Chicago week 17, and Green Bay week 18.
yeah, they're the 7th team since realignment in 2002 to play 3 road divisional games in the final 4 weeks of the season. That's a new one.
Yeah.
But also the outdoor games, there's only those 2 late like that, but he's going to be playing in domes so many times again this year, much like the 2024 season when they won 15 games. So I'm as strong and as firm as on the lines as I have been the entire offseason now that we're here.
That week 1 game against the Saints, that total moved 2.5 points.
I don't blame. Yeah,
That jumped up. And with Denver, you meant it's both LA teams they play.
yeah, okay.
That is a gauntlet the first 6 weeks.
There you go. Yeah, Rams. Yeah, there you go. I will say and I haven't had a chance to like break down every single game, every single team, but the Monday night schedule is straight fire this year. On paper, again, it probably won't result like this. Teams are going to be better than you think, worse than you think all the time. But they did a really good job giving us matchups as of right now, offseason leading into the year, like a schedule to really get excited about on Monday nights. So,
I think it's all good. I looked at the Thursday night, the Sunday night, and the Monday night. I think it's fantastic. I think there's all good matchups here on paper.
All right, it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Up next, we'll give you an update on the PGA Championship round number 2. And I don't know where this ranks from last night, but if you told me it's top 10 all time, I would not argue. That's coming up next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Update at the PGA Championship. Aldridge Potgieter remains your solo leader right now. He is at 5 under. He is 1 stroke up on Smalley, who is at 4 under. Then you have a bunch of golfers at 3 under for the day. I don't know how Potgieter possibly saved par. I think it was a hole or 2 ago when he was way off into the distance, but he did. And it's been we said this yesterday during the show. We loved how it was playing out. And 3 under was going to be the leader in the clubhouse yesterday. A bunch of guys did that. But we were hoping that it would play out to 8 or 9 under for the winner this week. And, today has been almost maybe more difficult than yesterday. Scotty was all over the map.
He was 1 over.
Yeah.
I thought the wheels could come off there.
So
because at that point, the projected cut was 2 over.
And somehow he composed himself. He finished the day at 1 over, so he's 2 under for the tournament. Cam Young somehow survived, and he eagled 18 today to come out at 2 under as well.
Oh.
Huge day for him.
Well, it's a miracle. It's a vicious beat if you had Justin Rose to miss the cut. He chipped in for eagle on 18, and that's how he's going to make the cut and survive.
Oh, boy.
It's incredible. I think the bear had him to miss the cut at 2-1.
Koepka, he parred the first 5, birdied to get to 2 under, then gave one back on the next hole. So he is at 1 under for the tournament, and even par so far through the day, and he is through 8. And other than that, I mean, it's a tight log jam again. And I'll say that Maverick McNeely is now 3 under, tied for 3rd place with a bunch of other guys. He just had a miraculous eagle from the bunker to put himself in that position now, and 2 strokes off the lead.
Some of these big names can't make a charge, can't get it going. Koepka, Cantlay, Rahm. See if they can make a push.
X-Man.
Scheffler, yes. Gotterup was great today. He shot a 65. He's right there in the mix. Day's in the mix. There are some big names, but we're going to lose some big names as well. Michael Block blew up. He's going to miss the cut. Lowry, Straka, Fleetwood, Henley, McIntyre, Hovland. And I know you were a little bit concerned with how many times they were showing DeChambeau.
Oh, I'll expand on that in a second. This sucks. Fowler got to 1 under as well. Now his last 2 holes, a double followed by a bogey. So Ricky Fowler was lingering, but now he's 2 over for the tournament, and he's only through 8 today. Golly. That's what happens when these guys become too popular, and that's it. I'm officially drawing a line through Russell Henley for the rest of his career. I'm never betting this guy in a big tournament ever again. Today's going to do it.
Yeah?
I can't. Yeah, so
DeChambeau's 10 over.
So I tweeted this out before the show started. I thought it was just a benign tweet for people that were watching, maybe on X. I can't believe how many responses I've gotten so far. All I said is, there is zero reason to show this many shots from Bryson DeChambeau. And people are, people agree pretty much across the board. The only people who don't, it's kind of funny, people who bet him to go over today in his round. They're like, I love seeing it. I have over 70.5 for today. So this train wreck is a pleasure of mine. But what's the biggest problem that we always have with golf coverage, Pauly?
They only show the big names of the guys top of the leaderboard.
And they don't show enough shots in general.
Uh-huh.
So now you're telling me that on day 2, a guy who is completely out of it has literally zero chance to even make the cut right now. You're going to show every shot that he's on the course because he's a disaster? Why?
Yeah.
He's not even on the PGA Tour, by the way. He's a live guy. Is it because he announced the YouTube thing and he's got a massive following with social media? People are actually suggesting that, responding to me on X. Get him off my TV. He's out of the tournament. You never do this. And now you're going to shove Bryson DeChambeau down our throats today? Stop it. You have 1,000 other golfers out there who are in contention that you won't even consider putting on TV.
A couple years ago, the incredible story was Michael Block.
Yeah.
Who made the cut and then was in the mix and then had the hole-in-one. They only showed the hole-in-one.
That's right.
It's like, this is a compelling story, and you're ignoring him for the 3rd and 4th round, especially the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
So it's bizarre with who the decision-making and who they decide to show sometimes. Right. I don't know. I can't recommend a bet right now. I already have Gotterup. I think Gotterup's got a shot. Cam's turned it around. Maybe you can throw something on Matsuyama. But these other guys, do you think they have the mental fortitude? Our guy Yogi Berra is out too. Higo, he's in trouble. I was late, but I was early. Doesn't look good for him today. He'll probably miss the cut. But other than that, I can't really recommend anything because this is just a mess up top at the leaderboard with a lot of guys who maybe you don't trust, and the Scotty factor or Schauffele if somebody's going to make a charge and take advantage Saturday. Okay,
so would you, if you do get involved, would you want to play the winner without Scotty? Or would you just play it straight up?
No, I'll play it straight up.
I'd go straight up as well.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm with you. And I have a bunch of guys live now. And I did add, and I talked about this yesterday during In Pocket, I put Jason Day to finish top 20. And that was plus 175 yesterday. He got off to a great start today. He was 3 under. He just gave one back not too long ago. I have him 90-1 to win this thing. And I do have Gotterup from before it started. And I would actually recommend Gotterup. I think as of right now, he's been done now today for a while. We'll see how this leaderboard shakes out. But I think Gotterup, if you want me to call my shot, I'll say he's going to win the tournament right now.
Okay.
If I had to pick one guy, I'll go Chris Gotterup to win. I don't have anything on Matsuyama. Obviously, that's very dangerous. Rahm just went to 2 under. He was very popular this week. And I'll throw this at you as well. I mean, the way that Cam Young survived today, and he's currently sitting top 10, if you have nothing on Cam Young, he's around the same number. I think I was looking at around 12-1 before the show started. Would you dabble on Cam Young? He hasn't played great golf, and here he is.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind Rory either. Rory's 2 over on 7. Maybe Rory can make a charge.
Yeah, he gained a couple of strokes right away today.
Yes.
All right, so Paul, you're the lifelong hockey guy. I said this before the break. I'm not a historian of this sport. I like it. I really appreciate it. It's a blast to watch. I love going to the games live as well occasionally. If you told me right now that Mitch Marner's goal last night to get it going for the Golden Knights is like top 10 all time, I would not argue.
Well, Leaf fans are ticked off. It's incredible how well he's playing. He's 10-1 now to win the Conn Smythe. It's also why I understand a lot of fan bases are furious and get your act together because they've been in the league for 9 years. They've been in existence for 9 years. They made the conference finals 5 times. As they go for it every year, and Hart has found his game. Once again, though, Anaheim, you can't give up that goal a minute in. It was a replay of Game 3. Vegas scores a minute in, then a shorthanded goal, and then the power play goal. And you might as well just shut it down right then and there. Forsberg in the Olympics was a dynamite goal, but to put the brakes on and be able to do that, great pass as well from Wild Bill.
Oh, that pass was just elite last night.
You suck the air out of the building when you do that. You can't give up a goal a minute in, and then another shorthanded goal. So Vegas with a tremendous kill, and then I think that's their 4th shorthanded goal of the playoffs. So great season for the Ducks. They were game, but bad job and a tough way to go out. And shame on the league that we have to wait until Wednesday for Game 1. But Colorado, a 260 favorite, as we'll see if they can take out Vegas, and we get the maybe we get Colorado, Carolina in the final, although I think Montreal is going to be a handful.
So do I. So, by the way, with the Golden Knights, to make it 5 times in 9 years, don't forget that it was the pandemic, right? They were one of the biggest favorites in the semifinals in a long, long time. They lost to Montreal. Mm-hmm. They were a better team. They lost. So that would have been another cup appearance. And I will point out that for people who might, remember this, there was that series against San Jose many years ago. Marc-Andre Fleury was still a goalie. One of the biggest BS calls ever. What was it, a 5-minute major?
Yeah, Pavelski.
Yep.
The officials didn't see it. They looked over, they saw blood, and they talked him into it because it fell on his face.
And because of that, and there was a 3-goal lead, I believe, for the Golden Knights, and they blew it during that major. San Jose just came back like gangbusters. That was a Game 7, I believe?
Yes, it was.
And that team was, I would still say that was the best team the Golden Knights have ever had. And they were a major problem that year as well. So we're talking about like the woulda, coulda, shoulda here, and it's only been 9 years, and there are players every single year.
Incredible.
Now, so you mentioned Marner's 10, Hart 75-1 for the Conn Smythe. What do you make of that? If they beat Colorado, he's going to have to play out of his mind.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Because I don't see them beating Colorado like 6-4.
I still rather have Wedgwood at 50. If it's going to be a low-scoring series, maybe he can do it, and they could take him all the way to the cup. I wouldn't want that. But maybe he could come in. I'd rather have Dobish at 30. Give me Dobish. I'd rather have that. He's excellent. So I think Montreal is going to beat Buffalo, and then they can give Carolina all they want. And Dobish, I think, is a better price than Hart and a better bet. I think I would look at that direction.
Yeah, and also, like, if the Golden Knights were to win it, I mean, how would you possibly at this point not give it to Marner? And I actually think that betting Marner to win the Conn Smythe is probably a better bet than betting the Golden Knights right now to win the thing. He's a bigger number. There are 12-1s out there on him if you look around. Guy's been unbelievable. High-scoring guy in the league. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to be able to ignore that if they were to win the Cup again this year. Professional sports bettor Paul Bovi is going to join the program coming up next. Also a Knicks season ticket holder, has been since the 80s. We'll get his advice for playing the Eastern Conference Finals based on their opponent coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll get some NBA perspective here from a longtime professional sports bettor, but also a longtime season ticket holder for the New York Knicks. Goes all the way back to the 80s. friend of the show and the network, Paul Bovi, joins the program now here on the Progressive Guest Line. Mr. Bovi, thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you guys. It's been a while. It's been since the Super Bowl. So we got a lot to cover here.
No doubt. How are you feeling right now about the Knicks based on either getting the Cavaliers or the Pistons in the next round?
I'm going to feel great if the Cavaliers win tonight. We have advantages against Cleveland, notably home court, and we just match up better. I'm not confident against the Pistons. We barely squeaked by that series last year. The games were decided by 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 6, and 11. And the 11-point game was the first playoff game that Detroit had gotten into for quite some time. And, you know, you remember that Hardaway shot last year. That was a foul. Guthrie missed it. It would have put the Pistons over the top in all likelihood if Hardaway hits 2 out of 3. And then the Knicks are on their heels, backs against the wall, 3-2. And you never know what happens when you're playing with pressure. This year, Detroit has outscored them by, get this, 84 points. So I want no part of Detroit. I want Cleveland, home court, and the Cavs, 5th from the bottom, defending the three-point line. Detroit is number 1 regular season. So I want Cleveland, and I think they'll wrap it up tonight. And Adam Silver should be on his knees because the finals that they want, and it will be an easier path, certainly for the Knicks. They want OKC and they want New York.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they haven't made it since 1999. We just saw this play out with how Knick fans took over Philly, and a lot of people lost respect for Philly sports fans. Everyone has a price. I can't imagine what those tickets are going for if the Knicks make the finals and they play either the Spurs or the Thunder. Would you decide to go, or would you decide to take a big payday and sell your season tickets?
You know, I'm just going to answer you this way. It's not as important for me to be there just because I saw some great basketball in the 90s. And more important is for the Knicks to prevail and win it. So will I go? Yes. Game 6, I believe, is June 13th. I'll make it my business to be in New York. Assuming it's Game 3, Game 4, I don't know if I'll be here. Where I'll be right now, as I told you guys, I'm in Toronto. I should be in New York for a period of time. But if I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not, I'm not. But either way, I'm going to take it all in and root for the Knicks.
Yeah. Projected series price, by the way, would be the Knicks around 250 in that neighborhood against the Cavaliers.
Higher than that.
Well,
I think it's got to be higher.
Would you lay a game and a half? Because you would fire on the series as well, along with being a fan. Would you lay a game? Would you lay 2.5 games against Cavaliers?
No. But there's no way that the Cavaliers are going into Madison Square Garden in a Game 7 and winning the series. So if the Cavs are going to do it, they're going to do it in 6, and that's not going to happen. The Knicks are just a better team than Cleveland. Bringing over James Harden, I'm not sure that was the best idea for Mobley. But again, the matchup against Cleveland is better. They've beaten them 2 out of 3 this year. They did lose 4 games to them last year. One of those games nobody played, and it was quite a disparity in terms of point differential at 60+. But that was then. This is now. They won't be able to defend the three-point shot, and we are just better. And I would lay 250. I'd lay 250 in a heartbeat.
Okay.
But once again, against Detroit, it's a no-go.
I think you're putting too much stock in the regular season with this team based on how Detroit has struggled. Duren, it's the second worst drop-off in playoff history. He averaged 20 a game in a regular season. He's averaging 10 a game in the playoffs. But the big thing, and you know this now that he's back in the good graces of the fans, it's a different offense with Cat, with point center, and how they've won 7 games in a row, and they're killing these teams.
Hey, listen, don't get me started on Duren. I mean, this guy played, 25 minutes the other night, and he was a minus 16.
Yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of Dwight Howard. He's this big, burly body, and his play is not in alignment with that. So maybe Paul Reed tonight and maybe Doran. It's the same philosophy tonight as it was with Ayton, perhaps. I played Ayton under the other night, figuring that JJ would pull him if he doesn't do anything. 4 quick points, 2 rebounds, nothing. JJ pulls him. He only logs 21 minutes. So that may happen tonight with Doran. You never know.
How about this? Paul Reed has only played in 3 games of the series so far. He has scored in double digits in all 3 games. He's higher than 2-1 to score 10 points tonight, Paul.
It might be a play. He may get those minutes. Doran's going to be on a short leash, no doubt. I think Cleveland wraps it up tonight. I think they are just the better team. They have converted 122 of, I believe it is 220 inside the arc, and 114 of those have been inside the paint. So they're getting inside. They're doing the better work at the basket, and that's why I think they get the victory. And look, if we take Cleveland on, I'm not going to say he's the lone wolf, but it's Donovan Mitchell. He's torched us at times. He's against the Knicks over the last, I think, 6 games. He's 58-108. It's not a great percentage, except when you take into account that a large majority of those shots are from beyond the arc. So he's the guy, and, he will be the guy tonight. He had an off game the other night, but I think he'll be better tonight.
Follow the money, Pauly and Mitch, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Paul Bovi, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Pro Sports Bettor, America's favorite landlord as well. You made an NFL futures bet. What'd you do with the Minnesota Vikings?
The Vikings went 9-8 last year. Now, they went 9-8 with Max Brosner, Carson Wentz, and J.J. McCarthy. How bad is that? They still have Brian Flores intact. They got a solid coach in O'Connell. The key is for them, if you remember last year, they went through a stretch when their offensive line was just gutted. And one of those guys, the left tackle, Darashaw, he had come off surgery. I think he only logged 10 games. They got to keep that offensive line intact. But they got Kyler Murray for nothing. Arizona's paying the whole contract except for $1 million or $2 million. And he can't be any worse, and he should be better. Only played 5 games last year, 86 rating. But if you go 2 back, he was 9th in the league quarterback rating, 3 back, 6th in the league quarterback rating. They got solid receivers. They just brought over Jennings. They still have, the dynamic duo over there catching balls. And they got TJ Hawkinson. Well, TJ had an injury a couple years ago, but he's reliable. And defensively, Van Ginkel is still there. Blake Cashman's still there. They got a couple division games to start off with. But the schedule, other than a stretch later in the season where they get 4 primetime games and 2 games with little rest, limited rest, I think they got a chance to compete in this division. And 8.5, they got 9 last year. Come on.
Yeah. We probably don't have enough time to get into computer-assisted wagering with horse racing, and you are a lifelong, been betting horses for longer than Pauly and I have been alive, pretty much. That's a compliment, not an insult. So based on that, do you know who you want to bet at the Preakness yet this weekend? I think we should have you in studio sometime to rail against the cause, by the way, Paul.
Yeah, I will, because I'm railing against the people that complain about the cause.
Okay.
It's pari-mutuel wagering. The line floats. If you can't deal with it, go play Keno or go play roulette. If 5 guys have 25, everybody gets paid at 35-1 or whatever it is. And people are making too much of this car thing, and I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody, all these horse racing experts.
Okay. You know what might be good? What does Massaro think about the cause? Does he hate them, or is he with you?
He whines about it when he loses. Chris is great, but Chris, I love him. I'll see him at Saratoga. We're going to have a lot of fun. But we may butt heads a little bit on this one.
Here's what we need to do. We need to. We're up against the clock. We need to get you in studio next time you're in Las Vegas with somebody who sees it differently than you, and have the two of you go at it live on the air.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bring it on, baby.
There you go. There's Paul Bovi. Thanks, Paul. Good to talk to you again. Best of luck this weekend, okay?
Take care, guys.
You too. Up next, Paul's going to recap a lot of the betting action. Win some, lose some. An 18-3 run, sadly, came to an end.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
This is what Mitch was talking about. The Anaheim Ducks, all 6 playoff games at home. First period went over, and they closed the season on an 18-3 overrun.
No, that's overall or just at home?
Overall.
Oh.
Yep. Hell of a close. And remember, the entire series went over against Edmonton. Mitch Marner, first goal, 15-1. Montreal in the playoffs, 5-0 off a loss. Montreal against Buffalo, 6+ goals, 12 of the last 13. 6-3 final, 30-1. Zucker, first goal, 14-1. Dodgers, 155 up to 180. Cubs beat the Braves, plus 180. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. Justin sent this in. I don't know what the story is, but it's a pilot who brings his dog in the cockpit. And big fella, look at the mug on this guy. He just, take a picture, guys. Chuck E. Cheese on 3. There he is. Look at that, hanging out with the big guy. That's awesome.
That is your big fellow right there.
I know,
You're not kidding.
Bring your dog to work day, and that's awesome. With that view, as the guy's just hanging out. That is excellent. So is this one. This is in San Francisco. You go to the dentist, you can book the French Bulldog. Kind of like a therapy or service dog. Here you're getting like a root canal. He's sitting right on the lap of the patient. And you can play fetch with him in the hallway, go in the waiting room, hang out, no kids. You don't have to watch your language, right?
So he's like the resident pooch.
Yeah, that's right.
Hanging out, lingering around. You can have him on your lap.
Look at that.
Calming, okay.
That's a great idea.
I would probably consider that.
Right, yeah, there he is, just hanging out while he's getting work done. And the dog's sitting on the lap of the patient right there. That's excellent. This, Christy sent this in again. This is Chico, who doesn't want to leave Grandma's house. You got the volume? Every time you have to leave? I heard it earlier. You got it? Ah, damn. We'll try it Monday. It's fantastic where the dog yells no when it's time to leave Grandma's house. Excellent. One lose some. Swing and a miss by the NHL. Colorado, Vegas, Game 1 Wednesday. A week off? Come on, Bettman. Bad job. Bad beats. A's blew it in the 9th. Sharp plays. Been with us since day one. Jeff and the crew are excellent. Start winning with them. Sharpplays.com. All of it documented. Logs posted publicly. Sharpplays.com. Respected, watched, and feared. Gathering intel and picks from over 500 sources worldwide across all sports and sent right to subscribers in real time. Sharpplays.com and the Mr. Poison daily tweets as well. Start winning with them. Join now. Good luck.
Initial thoughts on that series? Golden Knights and the Avalanche?
Yeah, Colorado. I mean, hopefully Colorado's short. Again, great job by Hart to find his game, but Utah had him on the ropes. You know, to be 3-0 in overtime and to win, I counted 7 games that they won where they were out. That's a great picture. 7 games where they were outplayed.
Yeah, they were, but they were like, they turned
Colorado.
into like clearly the better team against Anaheim. So I think that's a good sign going into that series. Also, the Makara injury could be a big factor for Colorado.
All right.
If that guy's compromised at all. By the way, it looks like Pock Geeter's in some trouble here on 16. So he has a solo lead right now over Smalley. Smalley's in the clubhouse. He's at 4 under, and then a bunch. Well, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 guys right now at 3 under.
So Bovi mentioned it, and this will be interesting tonight because a lot of people subscribe to the theory that you play the guys that got you there and that you roll with the starters. But if you're Bickerstaff with the season on the line, and after how Game 5 played out, I don't know if you want to say short leash or what, but you have got to play Paul Reed major minutes. How he has scored almost as many points as Duran in this series. And one guy's played 140 minutes, and the other guy's played like 40 minutes. And the second worst drop-off in playoff history. He averaged 20 a game in the regular season. He's averaging 10 a game in the postseason. That you've got to play more Paul Reed now with your season online. Not to mention, Cade needs all the help he can get, where it's been a one-man show for the most part. Harris has played well. But that Cade is doing everything, and he might be gassed as all the minutes he's had to play because he just had to go 7 against Orlando, and now you go in Game 6 here against the Cavs. And they get a big shot in the arm if Duncan Robinson can come back. He was at shoot-around, but he was at shoot-around for the last game. He didn't play. That's also check the status of LeVert, too. So this is huge for the Cavs that if they win tonight, number one, Mitchell makes a conference final for the first time, and for the first time in 34 years without LeBron, they would make a conference final, and for only the second time they would make a conference final.
Well, a lot of time, as you said, hinted at there, coaches can be very stubborn. But I would also say that the front office and the rest of the coaching staff should have had a sit-down with Bickerstaff at this point and said, look, you're going to get robbed of Coach of the Year. Did an amazing job. We're the 1 seed overall. I get it. Duran had an unbelievable season. He's probably going to be voted second, third team All-NBA. Had a chance to win Most Improved. But, sir, all due respect, he can't play. You have to have Paul Reed in this game. I'm looking right now at the game log. I don't know what other evidence you would need. He played 10 minutes. He's played in the 3 losses so far in this series. He played for 10 minutes, scored 11 points. 14 minutes, scored 15 points. And in this last game, never played in the first 3 quarters. Then he played all of the fourth quarter and all of overtime.
Yeah, you'll never see that again.
I've never heard of that before.
I know, yeah. Biggest game of the season.
So 17 minutes, he had 10 points and 8 rebounds. So, I mean, that's 3 straight games where he's had 10 points. The Opta AI stats at vsin.com, Paul, they're absolutely in love with Duran yet again. So they're just not like factoring anything here in the playoffs. But they have like all of his props. Their biggest edges are him to go over tonight. I'm not going to buy into that. The guy can't play right now. And this guy, you're telling me that Reed is at higher than 2-1 to score in double figures again tonight? Now, it's easier said than done because you don't know how Bickerstaff is going to approach this. And if he only gets 8 minutes, then that is likely a losing bet.
Yeah.
But if the guy's out there for 30 minutes, which is probably the run that he should get, I'm very confident getting 10-plus points.
Yep. I like what Paul said, too, about Ayton, that Redick had just had enough and then short leash as well. And that's what happened also in Game 4 against OKC. So the other thing is you got to take care of the ball. I mean, Barkley was he was animated and he was excellent about Game 5. It's the Cavs with the silly turnovers. And the fact that Detroit should have been blowing them out. It was a 15-point lead, but they should have been up 20. Points off turnovers in the first half of Game 5, 20-2 in favor of the Pistons.
Wow.
So if the Cavs take care of the ball and they're not sloppy with it, they should come out with the win.
I would agree with that.
I would expect a big performance out of Mitchell, but still, I don't want to hear that he's played well the last couple games because the last time he was in this position, he was awful in Game 6 and Game 7 and disappeared again. That was Harden when he was on the Sixers, and they led 3-2 against Boston. So with his track record in history, I wouldn't be surprised if he lays an egg tonight.
Put it this way, I'm fairly confident that the Cavaliers are going to win this game tonight. But am I strong enough to actually lay 4 points? Absolutely. Under no circumstance would I do that. I will be mildly surprised if they don't finish off the Pistons tonight. Mildly. But I can't lay 4. Just based on their history and who they have overall as their personnel, if they threw up a dud tonight, I would hate myself. for betting them and laying the 4.
Well, it feels like this is the game where everyone should chip in and help out like they did in Game 5. Strus was excellent. Mobley, get something from Allen, and I think Mitchell's in store for a big game too. But the comeback is it's Detroit. Like we're up 9 with 2:30. You can't blow that.
Can't.
That hadn't happened in 30 years in a playoff game.
No, you got to be up 3 games to 2, and you could be the team closing them out tonight here, and now you're completely up against it.
This has been so bad. You wonder how much this means for like future earnings for Duran too. Like, how you going to give the guy a big deal and a long-term contract when his points per game been cut in half? He doesn't look like the same player, and he got dominated by Carter Jr.
Yeah, I couldn't do that right now. Just couldn't. But it's NBA again, and it's funny money, so they give players who are not nearly as good as Duran obscene amounts of money. So it'll probably happen with him. Like who else do you trust other than Cade tonight? You want to play Cade triple double? He's gonna probably play 45 minutes in this game tonight if it's close, and he'll be pushing a triple double. He's gonna have to be Superman if they have a chance. But
He's already done it.
Tobias Harris.
He's gone over his points every game but one. Yep.
I can't bet that.
Cade's 19-1 for a triple-double.
What is he?
19-1.
19-1.
The other one, too, 4 straight games have gone over with the Spurs and the Wolves now. So it's just attack the paint, go to the basket if you're going against Minnesota, and then it also comes down to how they're going to knock down their threes.
Yep.
I'd love to know that, because when they're going in, they're going to be impossible to beat.
Las Vegas odds maker Jeff Sherman coming up next. We'll ask what he makes an OKC Spurs series price, also OKC Knicks, and his takeaways from the NFL schedule coming up here on VSiN.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.